Good morning, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. And happy Friday. We have a lot of news to get to, so let's begin. First up, fundraiser launch to help Warren residents whose wells went dry. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Mike Cronin.
Made national headlines. A home ripped off its foundation by floodwaters in Warren. Shortly after, the state issued emergency permits to dredge the channel of the Baker River, fixing its banks and protecting bridges.
It just all happened so fast.
Andrew Hanley showed us his well, one of 10 now dried up after repairs were made to the river. State Senator Bob Guida says an aquifer was breached, but that no one can be liable.
There's no way to scientifically really connect that action, harm the aquifer or cause the well to go dry.
For weeks now, some people have had no running water.
Very tiring, especially with the frigid weather.
Ramona Thurston and others have water bottles and jugs piling up.
Go to the neighbors. We have wonderful neighbors here that have helped out, letting us use showers. And we go and fill up probably 30 to 50 jugs of water every couple of days.
They're having to figure how much water do we have to haul back to cook, bathe, flush the toilets with.
Senator Guida is now turning to the generosity of others. His GoFundMe page aims to raise $40,000, $4,000 for each family, to pay for digging new wells in hopes of bringing back a necessity to those who lost it unexpectedly.
If you can lend a hand, I'd be grateful.
And if you'd like to help these families out, you can visit this story on our website at WMUR.com, where we're posting a link to the GoFundMe page. In Warren, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. School closed after 20% of students sick with possible norovirus. Let's take a listen to the video from WCVB Boston.
Of the 600 plus students here were sick today, so public health officials made the call and canceled classes for tomorrow.
I heard 160. That's a lot.
More than 20% of the 664 students who attend the Rising Tide Charter School were out sick today with norovirus-like symptoms. At least 10 of the 45 staffers as well.
A lot of vomit. That's what they say.
Sophomore Brendan Casey is not sick, but several of his friends are, and classmates were disappearing in groups.
My third block class, we had like 3 people get dismissed. I did see quite a few people earlier in the day that I did not see at the end of the day.
In a letter sent home to parents, school officials say the Plymouth Public Health Department recommended school be canceled tomorrow and the building thoroughly disinfected. Meanwhile, health officials are offering these tips to families to prevent the spread of the virus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and don't rely on alcohol hand gels. Disinfect any objects that might be contaminated. Wash your clothing and bedding in hot water. And if you feel sick, stay home for 48 hours after the symptoms have passed. Cleaning crews will now have a 4-day weekend to disinfect the school. That process will begin tomorrow. In Plymouth, I'm Mary Salida, WCVB News Center 5.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Portland ceremony brings awareness to victim of human trafficking. Let's take a listen to the video from WMTW News 8 in Maine.
In Monument Square, a show of solidarity against human trafficking. Advocates, concerned residents, passers-by, and survivors gathering tonight.
Like, people just think it happens overseas, and it doesn't. It happens here everywhere.
Survivors like Carrie Dyer, who tells her story to reduce stigma and educate people about the horrors she and many others have endured.
You know, I still get judged. Some people don't see it as it is, but the more I speak out and share my story, they see the reality of it all and what really goes on behind the scenes.
According to advocates, 200 to 300 girls and women here in Maine are trafficked into the commercial sex industry each year. Carrie Nason is the director of Hope Rising, Maine's first residential treatment program for survivors of human trafficking.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And we know that labor trafficking exists here in Maine, too. It's really important.
An issue that maybe not enough people know enough about.
Because it appears that it's been a hidden issue for quite a long time, and many people are suffering.
But resources are available. This month marks National Human Trafficking Prevention and Awareness Month, and tonight's vigil, candles to light the darkness, to bring the victims out of the shadows.
And this is just such a great message to send to survivors, that there are people who care, that we as a community care about survivors.
Please feel free to... And representatives like Carrie from Hope Rising say just a few of the warning signs of human trafficking include if someone can't keep their own money, can't control their own money, they're often on the phone, or maybe can't come and go as they please, they may be in trouble. The best thing to do, she says, is to educate yourself, provide resources, and reach out to that person judgment-free.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. South Korea is taking down the idea a cryptocurrency trading ban is imminent. South Korea's finance minister on Friday said that relevant officials need to hold more consultings over the justice minister's plan to ban cryptocurrency exchanges in the country. Sources: Trump questions allowing immigrants from S-hole countries. Let's take a look.
Cough doesn't sound so good. Take me as the next DM.
I'll text you in 4 hours. Your cough returns.
One pill lasts 12 hours, so...
Looks like I'm good all night. Why take 4-hour cough medicine? Just one Mucinex lasts 12 hours. Let's end this.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a Thursday night, and we begin with the president's comments in the Oval Office today, using an expletive and setting off a firestorm. A bipartisan group of senators with him during talks about immigration. The president told of a plan to allow immigrants from Haiti and several African countries, then asking, why are we allowing all these people from blank countries to come here, using a profanity we won't repeat? Word of his comments spreading through Washington tonight, sparking outrage, and ABC's Mary Bruce leading us off from the Hill.
After dizzying negotiations on Capitol Hill today, lawmakers thought they had a plan to protect dreamers.
Deal or no deal?
We have an agreement.
Lawmakers took that agreement to the president, but when they returned...
No deal yet. There's got to be one because we're running out of time.
It sounds like you have an agreement and he's not on board.
We have no agreement with the president.
Tonight, the reason the president isn't on board is shocking even some lawmakers. Sources briefed on the meeting tell ABC News when President Trump learned the plan would restore protections for immigrants from Haiti and several African countries, His response, why are we having all these people from expletive countries come here? Instead, Trump suggested the U.S. should bring in more people from countries like Norway. The outrage swift. In a tweet, Congressman Elijah Cummings calls the president's statements unforgivable and demeaning to the office of the presidency. And from Senator Cory Booker, let me be clear, Donald Trump does not speak for America. It's a stunning setback to the Dreamer talks. Earlier this week, the president sat down with lawmakers and at times even seemed to agree with Democrats.
What about a clean DACA bill now, and with a commitment that we go into a comprehensive immigration reform procedure?
I have no problem. I think that's basically what Dick is saying. We're going to come out with DACA. We're going to do DACA, and then we can start immediately on the phase 2, which would be comprehensive.
Would you be agreeable to that?
Yeah, I would like to do that.
Mr. President, you need to be clear, though. I think what Senator Feinstein's asking here, when we talk about just DACA, we don't want to be back here 2 years later. You have to have security, as the Secretary would tell you.
But I think that's what she's saying.
The president said he would sign whatever lawmakers could agree to, but yesterday he made clear he has one firm condition.
We need the wall. We have to have the wall for security purposes.
There is a provision in the new agreement to deliver on some kind of a wall in the form of beefed up border security. But tonight, that no longer seems to be the president's main objection.
So let's get to Mary Bruce live on the Hill tonight. And Mary, this evening, the White House does not deny President Trump made those profane comments.
David, in a statement, the White House says President Trump is fighting for permanent solutions that make our country stronger by welcoming those who can contribute to our society, grow our economy, and assimilate into our great nation. What the White House is not saying tonight, David, no denial that the president made these comments.
Mary Bruce leading us off tonight. Mary, thank you.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your Friday, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. Goodbye, everyone.